I pulled into the hotel lot in Virginia just before midnight. It was one of those roadside stops that exists solely for exhaustion, a flat concrete building where the lights hum louder than the traffic. The lobby was dim, and the clerk handed me a key with the disinterested gaze of someone who had seen everything and cared about none of it. I walked to the third floor. The hallway was a tunnel of beige, every door hung with a "Do Not Disturb" sign like a row of warnings. When I entered my room, 315, I stopped in the doorway. It wasn't dirty. It was disturbed. The housekeeping was technically done, fresh towels, vacuumed floor, but the geometry was off. The lampshade was tilted aggressively to the left. The bottom drawer of the dresser was pulled out 2 inches, but the thing that made my skin prickle was the bed. The comforter was smoothed over, but there was a distinct circular depression on the corner of the mattress. I placed my hand on it. It was warm. A rational mind makes excuses. Maybe the maid just sat down for a break before I checked in. I forced myself to believe that. I threw the deadbolt, but the chain lock was missing, just the empty screw holes where it used to be. I shoved a heavy armchair in front of the door, turned on the TV to drown out the silence, and collapsed into bed. I didn't sleep well. I drifted in and out of a shallow, feverish doze. I woke up to a sound that cut through the drone of the TV. Click, click, slide. My eyes snapped open. The room was bathed in the blue light of the television. I looked at the door. The handle was slowly rotating back to a horizontal position. Someone had just tried the door. Then came the sound of metal scraping on metal, a key sliding into the lock. I held my breath, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. The lock tumbled. The bolt retracted with a heavy clunk. The door pushed inward, but it hit the heavy armchair I had wedged against it. It stopped with a soft thud. I waited for shouting. I waited for aggressive banging, but there was only silence. Through the crack between the door and the frame, I saw a single eye staring in at me, illuminated by the hallway light. Then, the door pulled shut. The lock clicked back into place. I should have called the police then, but fear does strange things to you. It freezes you. I convinced myself it was a confused guest or a staff member at the wrong room. I lay awake for an hour, staring at that door, clutching my phone. Eventually, exhaustion won. I passed out. 2:15 a.m. I woke up not to a sound, but to a feeling. The air in the room felt heavy, displaced. The TV had gone into sleep mode, leaving the room in pitch blackness. I heard the rustle of nylon. It was coming from the corner of the room near the desk where I had thrown my bag. I reached out and clicked the bedside lamp. The bulb flickered to life, casting long, jumping shadows. A man was standing over my open suitcase. He was huge, broad-shouldered, wearing dirty jeans and a dark hoodie. He wasn't looking at me. He was holding my wallet. He froze. I froze. The silence stretched so tight I thought it would snap. "Who are you?" I managed to choke out. My voice was thin, pathetic. The man didn't run. He didn't attack. He slowly turned his head to look at me, his face completely blank, eyes dead and heavy. He placed the wallet back into the bag with agonizing slowness. "Housekeeping," he rumbled. His voice was deep, gravelly, and mocked the very word. "Sorry for the disturbance." He didn't rush. He walked past the foot of my bed, close enough that I could smell stale tobacco and sweat. He walked to the door, effortlessly shoved the heavy armchair aside with one hand, and slipped out into the hall. I didn't pack. I grabbed my keys and my bag and ran. The police review of the security footage later that morning was the final nail in the coffin. The clerk watched the screen, his face turning pale. "That's not our staff," the clerk whispered. The footage showed the man. He hadn't just come to my room. For 3 hours he had been walking the halls, using a stolen master key. He would enter a room, stand over the sleeping guests for 10 or 20 minutes, and then leave without taking a thing. My room was the only one where he decided to touch the bags, and it was the only room where he spoke. I still wonder what he was doing in those other rooms, just standing in the dark, watching strangers dream.